Keith Miller and Mike Betcher.
An estimated 700,000 Kurds have crossed into Iran, and another 500,000 are reportedly on the way. The line of Kurds struggling through the mountains goes on and on. The Kurdish refugees at this camp inside Iran are finally out of danger, but they have not shed the desperation that drove them from their homes. A tent city has been erected on the site of a former prisoner of war camp. People swarm around any visitor pleading for a way out. They have lost everything, including any hope for the future.
What we do now?
United Nations speak.
We want your help us.
We are being overwhelmed, says one official, and only with outside aid can we overcome this crisis. The children suffer the most. Some were badly injured during the fighting, and others are suffering from dysentery, malnutrition, and exhaustion. The adults talk of missing relatives and loved ones. Sadiq can't find his wife and family.
Maybe died. If they died also, I kill myself, of course. I kill myself, I promise you.
These Kurdish refugees are the lucky ones. They survived Saddam Hussein. They survived a trek through the mountains to arrive here in a foreign country behind barbed wire. Keith Miller, NBC News, Hoi refugee camp, northern Iran.
A few hundred the day before. Now there were tens of thousands. They had survived Iraqi air attacks and minefields, had endured freezing rain and snow, had persisted despite constant hunger. An unknown number had perished along the way. Ahead for the survivors was one last obstacle to cross, an old rickety footbridge that spanned a mountain stream. On the other side was safe haven on Turkish soil. The children had suffered the most. Disoriented and exhausted, one small girl could manage only a silent cry. Children had died along the route, and if help didn't arrive soon, children would die here. The most widespread affliction was despair from a people who believed they had been betrayed. Besides Kurds, Iraqi Arabs, Iraqi Christians, and soldiers running from the Iraqi army have come here. All of them from different backgrounds, from different parts of Iraq. But when they meet the rare American visitor here, they all ask the same question. Why? Why, they asked, had the United States urged them to revolt and not help them when they were attacked by the Iraqi army? Saddam tried to kill them. America disappointed them.
There was no help from nowhere for us.
Forced to give up the fight against Saddam, now they must fight for each scrap of food. Emergency aid has begun to arrive, but not enough. Often it is cruelly dispersed. They have lost the battle to live freely in their own land. Now they must fight to survive in a new one. Already, many have lost that struggle. Mike Betcher, NBC News, on the Turkish-Iraqi frontier.
Before moving on to Israel from Turkey, Secretary of State Baker combined a largely symbolic visit to a refugee camp with a call for action. NBC's John Dancy tonight.
Jim Baker saw the human cost of war today. Baker was actually inside Iraq as he visited the desolate Chakurja camp to call for an international effort to help the refugees streaming across the border by the thousands each day to camps like this. Many of these people walked 10 days to get to this rocky field through the surrounding snow-covered mountains. Women, children, old people. They were under attack by Saddam Hussein's planes and helicopters as they fled.
I want to talk to you, please. If you only hear me.
Right ahead.
An English-speaking man in the crowd told Baker the people are desperate.
We don't have enough water supply here. You see, this is the first thing. The second thing, that we need doctors, we need medicines, we need enough food. That's
the Turkish government has been as generous as they can be.
We are grateful.
They have opened their borders. They've given what they can give, but it's up to the international community as a whole to do something about this tragic crime against humanity, and that is what we intend to do.
Baker's trip was to see, but also to be seen. He learned little that the American embassy could not have told him and stayed at the site less than 6 minutes. But he has now seen the misery for himself, and that gave a personal intensity to his call for an international relief effort.